AKD and Ranil on par for the course. AKD fails to mention 2025 in his manifesto. How to fund promised relief measures. Warning of another period of queues by March to April. Ranil plans to say he should be given it directly. Lucky baiting a state minister. Sajith plots to accept racists. Ruan tasked with wooing SJB MPs. Crossovers to continue. Nothing to show for the costs. Ranil becomes angry. An intelligence report reveals it all. AKD on the rise. Sajith on the decline. Clash between Harsha and Nalaka. Nalaka has Sena Singh's support. A tight contest in 3 districts. Prasanna on Sajith's family rule and a stone age under AKD. His advice to 3 candidates.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
AKD and Ranil on par for the course. Candidates are now launching their manifestos to target the upcoming presidential polls. Anura Kumara Disanayake introduced his manifesto ceremonially yesterday, titled A Thriving Nation, a Beautiful Country. The SJB will do so on the 29th, while the SLPP is scheduled to launch its manifesto in September. AKD's manifesto is coming under much scrutiny, many welcoming it and critics airing their views. Shiral Lakthalake says he read the essay. It is not second to Ranil, a story about a dream after 30 to 40 years. Both basic and growing needs have been on target. There's nothing about the country in January 2025, says Lakthalake. Chinthana Dharmadasa, an ardent critic of AKD, says on Facebook that an ignorant person who reads only the NPP manifesto will find it to be excellent. But someone more advanced thinks while reading it that Ranil is a superb character. What the JVP says in 2024 he had said a long time ago. Opposing it then and copying it now without shame, the JVP shows it is so backward. For the benefit of the ignorant, I'll do a video on Ranil's policies and the JVP's new policies, says Dharmadasa. Before that, he said in a post, the boss at my previous workplace asked me to make a proposal for the next year. When it was shown to the boss, he read it with interest and asked how I would find the funds. You don't say it in the proposal, he said, which left me ashamed, said Dharmadasa. Views contrary to the above duo were expressed on social media, highly appreciating AKD's programme. Since his manifesto and theme song were launched, his wave of support has increased several-fold. Shiral says the NPP has become overjoyed about victory. It was the same when Gotabaya won. Even if the NPP wins, can they win the country? He asks. Even he admits AKD will win. Even before introducing their policies, some candidates make promises like Santa Claus, thousands in cash for the poor, separate payments for women, writing off farmers' loans and fertiliser subsidies, etc. Some question if they believe the people to be fools. The country has just about come out of bankruptcy. Are they going to provide those concessions with their family money? They ask. Shiral queries if the question is so simple for Sajith as to say he will tax the capitalists and write off farmers' loans. Is he onto socialism and AKD onto capitalism? Who tells the truth? He asks. However, the breakfast meeting at Ranil's Flower Road political office with him in the chair on Monday was told that such promises have done the trick for AKD in the villages. When Wajira raised it, Ranil said didn't think people would believe such promises. Several others told him that people do believe them. Explaining the crisis at length, Ranil said lying to win will bring another period of queues by March and the entire country will be on fire. Rajapaksas were voted to power by believing such fairy tales. When they couldn't do it, I was given the job. The same thing will happen if Sajith or AKD is believed. By March or April, I'll be told to take over again, the president observed. So I am going to say at future rallies to give it to me directly without doing it through agents, he said to big laughter. The JVP that spoke about a system change is now at a point of how to manage the system. So they too have joined conventional politics. In the meantime, Ranil has become so shrewd that he implies that what he said in the past and says now are true, and that even his opponents try to follow his roadmap. Lucky is baiting a state minister. Irida Deshaya reports that a professor from Anuradhapura and a legal expert who went to the Diawana from Colombo tried their best to join the telephone party. They gave phone calls to their contacts in that party and inquired if they had any chance. They almost succeeded before it got ruined. The reason was an advice given to the party boss that he will lose votes if he accepted the two, who provoked racism in the past. The boss immediately ordered that they should not be accepted. Both were told to wait and to keep their distance. Now they have no place to go. There is talk that several crossovers are due to happen very soon. The SJB is to reopen the saloon door it closed after accepting Patali and Rishad on the 14th. Lakshman Fonseca is now trying mitigate Thalitha's exit by eyeing a state minister from Uva province. He tries to bait a close confidant of Ranil too. For his part, Ranil has entrusted wooing SJB MPs to Deputy Leader Ruwan Wijewardena. He promised to get back to work after the funeral of his uncle, Rukman Senanayake. So, many more are to switch sides. Candidates try to make their catch bigger. Among the fish in the offing are several people who sowed seeds of racism during the Rajapaksa rule. Racism should end if a country, a society, is to stay happy. Nothing to show for the costs. Ranil becomes angry. Ranil was a very angry man at the Flower Road office yesterday morning. It is said he was worried by an intelligence report that the National People's Power is getting more popular while his campaign is a failure. When he inquired about what was happening, none spoke up. When he insisted, one said pleadingly that all the campaigns are on hold with no money available. Then Ranil inquired as to what had happened to the money he had given. One big shot said it was spent on the social media campaign. Ranil said sternly that the millions of payments should have been made in installments without paying the full amount. He also asked if they didn't look into the blockade of his social media handles after Meta got complaints. He stood up and left, saying he needed a report by the afternoon. The others continued with their discussion on social media challenges. One inquired if the hundreds of thousands spent on certain pages were a waste. One in charge said the payments had been made not for any work done, but to avoid getting attacked. Another proposed that they too should lodge complaints and get pages of others blocked. They agreed to do so and dispersed. Anyway, the Facebook page of senior journalist Uvindu Kurukulasuriya has been blocked since yesterday. It is said the government reported against him. AKD on the rise. Sajith on the decline. SJB leader Sajith Premadasa is having a clash of opinions in his party about his economic policy. What the Harsha, Iran and Kabir trio think about the International Monetary Fund is opposed to what Nalaka Godahewa believes in. With the election at hand, Sajith told Godahewa to keep his silence, but at the same time is egging others on against the trio silently, it is said. Godahewa alleges Harsha's opinions are not different from Ranil's. SJB campaign manager Sujiwa Senasinghe is in agreement with him. In the meantime, certain party leaders in the Samagi Jana Sandanaya are worried that they are getting sidelined. Patali, Dullas and Charitha are ignored, while yes-men of Sajith and Lucky run the show, it is alleged. So, it is no surprise that AKD has become the trend, they say. Anyway, it is clear the SJB is having a setback at present. Hundreds of opinion reports in websites and social media indicate AKD is ahead of Sajith. It is not a secret that a vast majority of these reports are biased, but an opinion poll done by an independent group has made the leading parties very much troubled. That is especially so in 3 districts. These districts are not the biggest ones, but the main parties do their best to press for advantage there, since a majority of their voters remain undecided. Quoting several reports, Dilith says 40% of voters are on the fence. He believes they will vote for him. With just 3 weeks to go for the big day, critics are doubtful if Ranil or Sajith could make it ahead of AKD. Even Thalitha Athukarala raised that point. She inferred that their division will be their undoing and that AKD will be the winner. Patali said so before her. He joined Sajith after realising that Ranil will not attack AKD. Even he is left flabbergasted by the trend of support for the NPP leader, some say. AKD, together with the NPP and the JVP, has been working at the grassroots before others even thought of doing so. Sajith followed him, but got stagnant with the onset of Ranil's campaign. Critics say he was unable to boost himself satisfactorily. He was at a further disadvantage after he accepted Gota's former advisers. Everything fell in line for AKD, even with Ranil and Sajith clashing with each other, say the critics. Prasanna on Sajith's family rule and a stone age under AKD. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says family rule is a curse on a country. Such a rule never brought development. Everybody speaks about the Rajapaksa family rule. Not much is spoken about the Premadasa family rule, he says. Addressing a rally in Minuwangoda yesterday, he referred to Sajith's time as housing minister during the good governance regime. It was not him, but Jalani Premadasa who was at the ministry at most times. Today the SJB is under a family rule. It is run by Jalani and businessman Lucky. Dulanjali Premadasa, too, has entered the scene. Ask SJB MPs. They are deeply disappointed. If Sajith wins, his family will rule the country. His ministers will become puppets, said Prasanna. He didn't forget to take a jab at the NPP too. If AKD wins, the country goes back to the Stone Age. We wonder if Lalkantha speaks in his right mind. How can a country be run with the JVP's bloodthirsty, uneducated people? He asked. Prasanna said that just like Mahinda was the key to saving the country from LTTE terrorism, Ranil saved the country from the economic crisis. Sajith, AKD and Namal are very far away from state leadership. Instead of boasting here and there, they should have to learn a lot more about governance, he added. Irrespective of the promises given, voters shouldn't forget the reality that the country's economy is still at risk. If it is shaken with false promises, the country and the 22 million people will be finished.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.